Hello, I'm Stephen, and I'm back from an excursion into the deep silence. It's a place that I know well because I spent many years there before I stepped out and began to speak on the message of more and the greater world view. I want to thank you. Many of you have been aware of my personal struggle following that nasty storm of last October when so many beautiful trees came down so quickly, and it seems like such a nasty storm. And I've always prided myself in being a voice and understanding the trees, but in this occasion I didn't have an answer for them. And as we carried out our row of undertakers, slicing and dicing, I caught something. And daggone it, I think it was that depression that I had spoken about a few videos back. It's been a while. For those of us and for you who have issues with depression, bouts of depression, it's almost like a cold. We don't really know where it came from, but we know that it found us. And like a cold, it's sometimes difficult to shake. But I think I'm on the other side of it, and I'm coming back. And it was amazing how it played out in my life, because so much of the things that are most meaningful for me more or less disappeared. And I found it necessary to return into the silence, to recuperate and to heal. But before I went back into that personal and quiet, deeper inner space, I found that the lovely spirit beings and the tap screws that have accompanied my life, and the other beings who would speak through the veil and appear as phantoms and curly-whirlies, they also vacated my life. I could come out for an evening and nearly find the faintest little tap screw. But then, friends, in the recovery, as I was able to take that first step, life joined me again and walked with me. And life spoke through many of you in your cards and emails. And I want to thank you. But life also spoke abundantly in the unusual. And the reason for this particular place here today is I want you to gaze upon the waters behind me. This is a far-reaching place here at Happy Tree, and it became most amazing during this return. Sometimes, on some evenings, the banks of this pool are wreathed, surrounded by lovely color and these tap screw type beings. And they have spoken in the night. And some of them had appeared as phantoms. There may be one over there right now. But nonetheless, it has been so empowering. And it reminds me that whenever we return in a meaningful, sensual way with the world around us, that we can bathe in her power and beauty, because life is immersed in it all. So I hope you're able to see these magnificent color in this water that have no other apparent explanation. It's almost like we're at the Caribbean, aren't we? Well, let me tell you, the color of these lights are now the color of this water. And I'm going to build some type of seating bench so that some of you can come and place your feet in it, because it's very splendid and tranquil and beautiful. And it brings me to the message I want to leave with you today. And that is the one of connection. To reconfirm and reaffirm our connectedness, not only to one another, but to the fabric, the natural qualities of this world of earth. And to remind us, and you and myself even, that these connections don't find us standing outside looking in, but find us intimately connected, to feel and to touch, and to sense and to see. And it's only that way that life is able to weave our thread into her greater fabric, which assures us of deeper meaning and a longer enduring life. When the time in this world ends, the next opens up for us. But we need and absolutely must define those relationships. And that's what they become. They come be relationships. They must be intimate, they must be personal, subjective, and they must be apparent. And how do we establish those? Well, many of them have them in our lives. And yet, the cultural distractions are huge today. And whenever we don't see clearly and don't feel well, we sometimes grab for something that has no meaning ultimately and can't stay with us. But connection always does and always will. And remember, life finds her greater purpose in us. And that's why we're here in these bodies and containers and vehicles. It is this way which we are allowed to pour life into this world. Most important. And during and throughout our connections, and they can be many, connections and relationships of life have so many faces, but they all feel the same. They feel good. Not easy necessarily, but they're apparent, and they touch us. And while we lift and heal the world around us, we too are therefore lifted. So where to begin? Right where you are. And what do they look like? We find somebody to love. We nurture our gardens. We lift somebody. We heal. And we become aware intimately of the world around us. We love it in the way that we ask ourselves to be loved. And that's without condition. Which means as we are life's lanterns, and we are answering life's purpose in the way of our lives, that we remember that it works together. We both illuminate and we heal. We illuminate and we warm. And those two must always operate together. It does us no good if we see something that we can find criticism with, if we don't simultaneously find a way to affirm it, or he or she. Because otherwise, our cognition is just taking us on a witch hunt. And instead of connecting, we are separating. The power of life asks that we receive her and through us illuminate and extend her into this natural world. And it's here that we are now. I'm going to step away to grab something. I'll be right back. Hello. I have here in my hands a verbena out of the natural hedgerow surrounding this pond. And, you know, I want to use this to illustrate how so often our lives seem to be encumbered and surrounded with enclosures. Sometimes these are attitudes and thoughts, or the ideas that have been introduced to us through culture in our world, and or even as we age and begin to feel like I'm feeling. Oh, by the way, I have put another notch on my belt since we last spoke. But at any rate, you know, to the quick eye, this looks like it's just something dead and pretty much shot. Hey, it's over. But it's not over. Amazingly, even though we work with many restrictions and limitations, within our presence, these wonderful, radiant beings, our tomorrows, are being formed. And then, at the right time, they are released, so that the kind winds of this world and others can take our consciousness and move it upon wings. And it really is something, friends, because each, I don't know that you can see them, but on each of one of these beautiful little floating, flying beings is this seed that will go beyond to wherever we are and beyond where we are, and it will leave an impression. It will implant. It will come to grow into more of life. And so we can know that while we can't discern all of the mysteries of life, or even maybe a small part of them, we can trust her. And even though we've come to this point of unknowing, without real basic seeing even, These pods, this life, which often becomes like a pod, and it's dried up, and our mind is to say, oh, it is dead, it's over. No, it's not, my friends. There is another season placed before us, and then one thereafter that. I think that is just such a beautiful illustration, so that we can know in all conditions that life will give us wings if we will speak for her. So please remember, go forth and be that light in this world. She needs us now as much, if not more than ever. And also trust that regardless of the predicament that surrounds you, her greater splendor and her wonder awaits you. Not to be diminished, but to be given. And remember also to go forward, my friends, knowing that in you and through you, life makes her way through our world. And also know that that which we can imagine will become in its deepest and most lasting beauty. Thank you.